Hello children, how are you all? Hope you all are doing well. This is VKM. Welcome to Electron Chemistry Center and welcome to our class. Right? Welcome to alcohols, phenols and ether session. Welcome to alcohols, phenols and ether sessions. What else guys? Hope you all are doing well. I think so. Everything is going fine even, right? So we'll start the session. So as we had already completed alcohol's part, that is clear. Alcohol's part is done, totally alcohol's part is completed. Now we will be starting with the phenols. So now the complete phenols part will be discussing, right? So now introduction of phenols, that is very simple. As you know, phenol is an example of aromatic alcohol. Phenol is an example of aromatic alcohol, that is OH group is attached to benzene ring. OH group is attached to benzene ring and formula is C6H5OH. C6H5OH is the formula, and phenol is also called as carbolic acid. Phenol is also called as a carbolic acid, children, right? Phenol is an aromatic alcohol and formula C6H5OH, right? And here OH group is directly attached to the benzene ring. Understood? Let's move on to the introduction, the next part. As you know it, in benzene, hydrogen atom of the benzene ring is replaced by OH group, will give you C6H5OH, that is called phenol, children. That is called phenol. Let's talk about the classification. Same like alcohols. It is monohydric phenols, dihydric phenols, trihydric phenols. Monohydric phenol means only one OH group. Dihydric phenol means two OH groups. Trihydric phenol means three OH groups are present. So if you observe that monohydric phenols, first example as it is phenol, also known as carbolic acid. Second one, alpha naphthol. Generally, if single benzene ring is there, that is okay. If a single ring is there, single aromatic ring is there, it is called benzene. If two benzene rings are there, that is called naphthalene, right? If three are there, anthracene. Naphthalene with OH group is called alpha naphthol or 1-naphthol. And another one we have CH3 group is there, that is called 2-methylphenol, which is also called as orthocresol. Understood? Similarly, we have metacresol. Metacresol, that is 3-methylphenol, as well as paracresol, 4-methylphenol. If methyl group is present at the third position, that is 3-methylphenol, metacresol. If methyl group is present at the fourth position, that is paracresol, right? So all these are examples of monohydric phenols only. Another monohydric phenols I am giving it. Those are with aldehydes, carboxylic acids and esters. So here 4-hydroxybenzaldehyde. Here two functional groups are there, OH as well as CHO. OH and CHO, alcohol and aldehyde respectively. Aldehyde is the major functional group. That's the reason we have taken name benzaldehyde. C6H5CHO is called benzaldehyde. So in which OH group is substituted at a para position. That's why it is 4-hydroxybenzaldehyde, children. It is 4-hydroxybenzaldehyde. Similarly, at second position we have hydroxy, that is 2-hydroxybenzoic acid. As you know, carboxylic acid group will get the lowest priority. So 2-hydroxybenzoic acid, and then it is 4-hydroxyethyl benzoate. So we have COOR group. COOR group is nothing but ester group. COOR group is nothing but ester. So that's why we have taken 4-hydroxyethyl benzoate. All these are examples of monohydric phenols only. All these are examples of monohydric phenols. Now if you take next examples, dihydric phenols, children. These we have discussed in the last class also, in previous sessions of course. In previous lectures also we have discussed this. Hope you remember. First is benzene 1,2 diol. That is called catechol. What is called as catechol. Second is benzene 1,3 diol. This is called resorcinol. This is called resorcinol. And the third one, it is also having two OH groups, benzene 1,4 diol. First is 1,2 diol, second is 1,3 diol, and next is 1,4 diol, which is also called as hydroquinone or quinol. Hydroquinone or quinol. Understood? All these are examples of dihydric phenols. Why they are called as so? They have two OH groups, right? So if they have two OH groups, those are called dihydric phenols. First is catechol, second is resorcinol, third is quinol, also known as hydroquinol. Understood? Now trihydric phenols. Remember these common names carefully, children. Remember these common names. Trihydric phenol means how many OH groups should be present? There are three OH groups. How many OH groups are present? Three OH groups are present. One is fluoroglucinol, that is benzene 1,3,5 triol. If it is a single OH group, ol, two OH groups, diol. If three OH groups are there, triol. At which positions those OH groups are located, according to it, we will give the name. At first, third, as well as the fifth positions, three OH groups are located, and it is called as benzene 1,3,5 triol. Did you understand? Similarly, here pyrogalol. What it is called a pyrogalol. Benzene 1,2,3 triol. See, not only here 1, 2, 3. I can give it like this also 1, 2, 3. That is also called pyrogalol only. That is also said to be pyrogalol. All the OH groups are adjacent to each other. All the OH groups are adjacent to each other. So pyrogalol is benzene 1,2,3 triol. Next 1,2,4 triol. 1,2,4 triol. So that is also an example of trihydric phenol. That is also an example of trihydric phenol. Hope you understand, children. Is it clear for you? Everyone, right? So it is benzene 1,2,4 triol. Can you guess the common name of it? Common name is, they have not given, I am writing here, hydroxyquinol. What is that? Hydroxyquinol. For suppose if this OH group is not there, it is called quinol. No? Just close this, it is quinol. I kept OH group, and it is said to be hydroxyquinol. Understood? So that is the classification can be given for the phenols, and all these are simple and basic or fundamental questions, right? So phenols are classified as mono, di, as well as trihydric phenols. Just it's like recapitulation, okay? It's recalling the concepts. It is an example of, okay, it is right, dihydric phenol, no? So dihydric phenol, and it is both A and B, benzene 1,4 diol as well as hydroquinol. Hydroquinol actually, right? Yeah, you tell me this. Obviously, it is an example of a trihydric phenol as well as benzene 1,2,3 triol. Clear? Paracresol is an example of, in paracresol only one OH group is present. So it's an example of monohydric phenol. Monohydric phenol. Understood? So these are the, this is the introduction part or classification of the alcohols. We can take it. Now let's talk about the preparation methods of phenols. Preparation methods of phenols, I am going to talk about it. And preparation methods, we can prepare phenol by the help of chlorobenzene, using a process called as Dove's process. Using a process called as Dove's process. This process, okay, we have discussed even in haloalkanes, haloarenes chapter also. When chlorobenzene is treated with sodium hydroxide, it is the first process I am talking about it. It's a first preparation method of phenol. What is the first preparation method? Dove's process. So chlorobenzenes are less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. That's the reason we will be using high temperature and high pressure. When chlorobenzene is treated with 6 to 8% of NaOH at 613 Kelvin and 300 atmospheric pressure, initially it forms sodium phenoxide plus NaCl plus H2. And this sodium phenoxide or sodium phenate, which is on further acidification, with dilute HCl, okay, it gives phenol, right? It is O minus Na plus, it is H plus and Cl minus. So on further acidification with dilute HCl, it will give phenol. It will give phenol. Understood? Or else the same sodium phenoxide, you can treat it with carbonic acid also. You can treat it with carbonic acid, a mixture of H2O as well as CO2, a very weak acid, and it also will give phenol, and byproduct is sodium bicarbonate. It is nothing but sodium bicarbonate. Understood? So, first preparation method is dose process. Chlorobenzene is treated with NaOH at 613 Kelvin and 300 atmospheric pressure, which gives sodium phenoxide or sodium phenate, which is on further acidification gives phenol. Which is on further acidification gives phenol. Hope you understand, children. So now second preparation method, that is from benzene diazonium chloride. That is from benzene diazonium chloride. Benzene diazonium chloride. What is the formula? C6H5N2 plus Cl minus. C6H5N2 plus Cl minus is the formula of the benzene diazonium chloride, children. Now, generally about this reaction, how they will ask the questions as an organic conversion. If we take benzene treated with concentrated nitric acid plus concentrated sulfuric acid, nitration mixture. So benzene treated with nitration mixture, it gives nitrobenzene, which gives nitrobenzene, and then Sn plus HCl. Metal plus acid. Metal plus acid is an example of a reducing agent. So NO2 group is converted into NH2. Nitro group is converted into NH2. Previous one is nitrobenzene. This is aniline. This is aniline, and this aniline undergoing diazotization. Aniline is undergoing diazotization. Gives benzene diazonium chloride. Benzene diazonium chloride, and this reaction is known as conversion of aniline into benzene diazonium chloride is known as diazotization, right? And then they will ask you diazotization is warm with water. Okay, dilute with water, then it forms phenol. Then it forms phenol. It is a conversion of from benzene to phenol. So whenever benzene diazonium chloride is warm with water, it forms phenol. It forms phenol plus HCl and nitrogen gas is eliminated. Understood the point, children? It is preparation method number 2. First preparation is from dose process. Second preparation is from benzene diazonium chloride. Understood? The third preparation method, it is a commercial preparation method. It is very important for board exams for 2 marks. How do you prepare phenol from cumene? How do you prepare phenol from cumene? Even for competitive examinations also they will ask you, cumene is common name. Cumene is also called as isopropyl benzene. Cumene is also called as isopropyl benzene. Hope you understand, children. Cumene is also called as isopropyl benzene. When this isopropyl benzene is treated with oxygen, or cumene undergoing oxidation in the presence of air. Oxidation in the presence of air by using a catalyst, that is cobalt naphthenate at 423 Kelvin in alkaline dilute Na2CO3 medium. When cumene or isopropyl benzene is undergoing oxidation in the presence of air, it gives cumene hydroperoxide. What it will give? Cumene hydroperoxide. Understood? So if you observe that we have added the oxygen, here addition of oxygen takes place, means cumene is undergoing oxidation in the presence of air. So here we have added 2 oxygens, right? That's why we got COOH. This is called cumene hydroperoxide. Understood? Cumene hydroperoxide, right? So that cumene hydroperoxide, if it is undergoing distillation, it gives phenol. It gives phenol, and the byproduct is acetone, also known as propanone. Right? Children, acetone is also formed in large amounts. Acetone is also formed in large amounts, or it is formed in good yield. That's the reason even you can consider this as a preparation method for acetone also. Even you can consider this reaction as a preparation method for phenol, as preparation method for acetone, as acetone is also forming in larger amounts or good yields along with phenol. Understood? So that is the reason. So we can consider this reaction as a preparation method for acetone. Understood the point, children? So first preparation method is dose process. First preparation method is dose process. Second is benzene diazenyl chloride, from benzene diazenyl chloride. Third is from cumene. That is isopropyl benzene. Understood? So these are the major three preparation methods. Similarly, we have another preparation method also. It is related to class 11, first year. So that is from benzene sulfonic acid. From benzene sulfonic acid. You observe it here. They have not given. That's why I am writing here from benzene sulfonic acid. From benzene sulfonic acid. Whenever benzene reacts with oleum, pyrosulfuric acid, also known as oleum H2S2O7, it gives benzene sulfonic acid. It gives benzene sulfonic acid, which is treated with sodium hydroxide. It forms sodium phenoxide, and upon further acidification with dilute HCl, so benzene sulfonic acid gets converted into phenol. Benzene sulfonic acid gets converted into phenol. Understood? So benzene is converting into benzene sulfonic acid, and then it is treated with sodium hydroxide. It forms sodium phenoxide, and then further acidification gives phenol. Is it clear? So it is fourth preparation method, children. These are the four preparation methods are there for the phenol. Let's solve some simple MCQs we have. Let's solve some simple MCQs. Cumene is nothing but it is isopropyl benzene, or secondary propyl benzene also you can say, or secondary propyl benzene also you can say. Phenol can be obtained commercially from cumene. Why? Because cumene method is a commercial method. Yeah. Now we will be talking about chemical properties of phenols now. Chemical properties of phenols. Children, under chemical properties of phenols, acidic nature of phenols already we had discussed in the previous lectures. I think so in lecture 4 we have discussed. Check it. Acidity of phenols we have already done. That comes under first chemical property. Okay. Now second chemical property what we are going to discuss, electrophilic aromatic substitution. Electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction. Under that we will talk about bromination, nitration, all those reactions. Right? So first reaction what we have, so that is action of phenol with liquid bromine. Action of phenol with liquid bromine. So what does it mean? So first reaction what we are going to talk about is bromination. Listen carefully, children. Bromination is the first electrophilic substitution reaction we are going to discuss, right? So children, here which products are going to form, that you need to understand. So what I mean to say, here OH group is attached to benzene ring. So this OH group is a strong ERG. This OH group is strong ERG. ERG means electron releasing group or electron donating group, EDG. It gives the electrons to the benzene ring. Means benzene ring is highly activated. Benzene ring is highly activated towards which reactions? Electrophilic substitution reactions. So it allows the incoming electrophile to attack at either ortho or para position. That's why this OH group is an example of ortho para directing group. It is an example of ortho-para directing group. Means it allows the incoming electrophile to attack at ortho and para positions. Understood the point, children? Is it clear for you? Now I will be taking 2 moles of phenol treated with bromine in the presence of organic solvents. Organic solvents such as carbon disulfide or chloroform. Right? So in such cases you will get the monosubstituted phenol, that is orthobromophenol, parabromophenol. Because bromine and OH groups are very close to each other, so it might undergo steric endurance. Because of the steric endurance, orthobromophenol is minor product. Orthobromophenol is a minor product, means it is less than 18 years old. Okay, don't say like that. It is not okay. Minor and major, it is not decided based on the age. Minor means it is formed in less amounts. Okay, parabromophenol, that is major product. Major product means it doesn't mean more than 18 years old. Okay, so what does it mean? What does it mean? It means it is formed in more amounts or major amounts. Understood the point, children? Right? So it gives orthobromophenol as well as parabromophenol. Parabromophenol is major product, orthobromophenol is minor product, and HBr is formed also. Is it clear? This is bromine with organic solvents such as CH2 or chloroform. For suppose if I take bromine water, if I take bromine water, Br2 plus H2O if I take it, Br2 plus H2O if I take it, it's a very important reaction. As many, okay, how many stars if you want it, as many stars as you can keep it. Okay, phenol whenever it is reacting with bromine water, that means 3 moles of bromine, ring is highly activated in the presence of polar solvent. Water is an example of a polar solvent. So ring is highly activated. So because ring is highly activating, so electron density on the ring increases, especially at which positions? Ortho and para positions, but not at meta position. That's why all ortho and para positions are blocked by bromine, and it gives 2,4,6 tribromophenol in the form of white PPT. In the form of white PPT. Sometimes in the organic conversions are roadmap questions, right? They will ask you phenol reacts with bromine water. It gives a, it gives a compound A which is white PPT. Means you should understand that the white PPT is 2,4,6 tribromophenol. Understood? Such a way you have to, reveal, you have to disclose the answers in the roadmap questions. Is it clear? Now electrophilic substitution, second one we are going to talk about is, second one we have nitration. Nitration means reaction of phenol with nitration mixture. Nitration mixture in the sense reaction with concentrated nitric acid as well as concentrated sulfuric acid. The mixture of concentrated nitric acid as well as concentrated sulfuric acid is called as a nitration mixture. Okay. Now, so in nitration, what is the electrophile? NO2 plus is the electrophile. NO2 plus nitronium ion is the electrophile. Let's talk about the nitration with the dilute nitric acid. What is that, children? Dilute nitric acid. Observe it carefully. So dilute, whenever phenol reacts with dilute nitric acid at room temperature, it gives two products. One is orthonitrophenol and another one is paranitrophenol. Understood? These are the two products will be formed. One is ortho, another one is para. Clear? So there is a question always used to ask in board examinations. How do you separate this orthonitro as well as paranitrophenol? Understood? How do you separate? CBSE boards also very important question. How do you separate ortho and paranitrophenol? Children, orthonitrophenol is steam volatile due to which hydrogen bonding? Intramolecular hydrogen bonding, while paranitrophenol is less volatile due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Due to intermolecular hydrogen bonding. What I mean to say, I'll erase the ink. I am drawing the structure of orthonitrophenol. I am drawing the structure of orthonitrophenol. If you observe orthonitrophenol, there is a formation of hydrogen bond between this oxygen and hydrogen. This hydrogen bonding is called intramolecular. But when you talk about the second one, what we have, that is paranitrophenol. What we have? Paranitrophenol. Paranitrophenol cannot undergo intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Instead of it, it can undergo intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Means two different molecules of paranitrophenol I am taking. So between this you can observe the hydrogen bonding. This hydrogen bonding is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. HB means hydrogen bonding, not pencil brand. Okay. So intramolecular hydrogen bonding, it is intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Which is more stronger? When two different molecules are associated, forms a stronger bond. So that's the reason what you can say, intermolecular hydrogen bonding is stronger than intra. In intra only one molecule is involved, whereas in inter two molecules are involved, hence it is a stronger association. So that's the reason. So it is less volatile. Paranitrophenol is less volatile. Less volatile means it cannot evaporate easily. It cannot evaporate easily, right? So orthonitrophenol, paranitrophenol mixture can be separated by which technique? Steam distillation. By which technique? Steam distillation. Why? Because there is a difference in the volatility, or there is a difference in the boiling point. Low volatile in the sense that it cannot evaporate easily means high boiling point. Less volatile means low boiling point. The liquid which is having low boiling point can evaporate easily. That is the principle of distillation, right? Okay. So orthonitrophenol can evaporate easily compared to the paranitrophenol. Understood? So such a way we can separate the orthonitro and paranitrophenol by the help of steam distillation technique. Clear? Is it clear? So that is phenol with dilute nitric acid. But whenever if you take phenol with concentrated nitric acid, what it will give? 2,4,6 trinitrophenol, commonly known as picric acid. What it is called? Picric acid. Okay, so we know the name, right? So picric acid, it is one of the strongest acid, of course. It is one of the strongest acid because of the presence of 3 EWGs. Because of the presence of 3 EWGs, as you know, electron withdrawing group increases the acidic strength. So 2,4,6 trinitrophenol is one of the strongest acid, you can say. Is one of the strongest acid. So when phenol treated with dilute nitric acid, what it will give? It gives ortho and paranitrophenol. Whenever phenol treated with concentrated nitric acid, it gives 2,4,6 trinitrophenol, commonly known as picric acid. Children, you should remember that concentrated nitric acid is a best example of oxidizing agent. It's a best example of oxidizing agent. Even it can oxidize the ring also. Which ring? Not your finger ring. It can oxidize the benzene ring. It can oxidize the benzene ring. So that's the reason, if you observe that they have not mentioned the point here. Okay, I'll mention that point. Okay, they'll mention it later, not an issue. See, because of this oxidizing nature of concentrated nitric acid, it can oxidize the ring also. In such cases, picric acid cannot be prepared in good yield. Picric acid cannot be prepared in good yield, right? So in such cases, what we supposed to do? First, we should treat it with concentrated sulfuric acid. And it forms 2,4 phenol disulfonic acid. First of all, we need to sulfonate it, then followed by nitration. First we should do the sulfonation and then followed by nitration. Then it gives the considerable amount of picric acid. For suppose if I use this concentrated nitric acid directly, what will happen? This phenol may be oxidized. Because of it, what will happen? Because phenol, if it is oxidized, it might get hydroquinone. It might give hydroquinone. That's the reason. So we will not do directly concentrate, not treat it with directly concentrated nitric acid. Not treat it directly with concentrated nitric acid. Then you will get 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol. In your NCERT, they will give it very clearly. Picric acid cannot be prepared in good yields by this method. In this method, right? So that's why first it should be sulfonated, followed by nitration, right? Then they will ask you a question: can you write the reactions? Can you write the equations for these reactions? Right? So these are the equations. They won't give it, but you have to check it from here. Understood? Is it clear for you? MCQs. Phenol, whenever it is treated with Br2 in the presence of CS2, bromine carbon disulfide. So what will happen? Monobromination takes place. What will happen? Monobromination takes place. It gives ortho and para-bromophenol. It gives ortho and para-bromophenol. Yes. Phenol treated with concentrated nitric acid gives A. That A is 2, 4, 6 trinitrophenol, commonly known as picric acid. So now we are going to talk about some special reactions of phenol. Which are very important. Named reactions are generally very important, children, right? So we are going to talk about two special reactions. One is Kolbe reaction, another one is Reamer-Tiemens reaction. Okay, so pronounce it. First is Kolbe. What is the first one? Kolbe. Second one, what we have? Reamer-Tiemens reaction. Second one, what we have? Reamer-Tiemens reaction. Let's talk about those reactions. First one is Kolbe reaction. What is the first one, children? Kolbe reaction, right? So Kolbe reaction means phenol is treated with sodium hydroxide. It is well known and familiar reaction to you. Phenol is treated with sodium hydroxide. It gives sodium phenoxide, and then treated with carbon dioxide followed by acidification. Carbon dioxide is a weak electrophile. Sodium phenoxide is treated with carbon dioxide and followed by acidification. With HCl it gives orthohydroxybenzoic acid. What it will give? Orthohydroxybenzoic acid. Name I am writing here. Orthohydroxybenzoic acid, which is commonly known as salicylic acid. Which is commonly known as salicylic acid. This is the reaction. Right? If you observe it, sodium phenoxide, okay, treated with CO2, and how we got this COOH here, right? Karthik might ask me doubt, obviously, right? So if Karthik is watching the premiere, then he might ask me the doubt. So how can we understand that sodium phenoxide? Till here it is fine. This step is fine. And sodium phenoxide, how it can be converted into orthohydroxybenzoic acid is also called as salicylic acid. Understood the point, children? So that you can understand with the help of mechanism, right? Orthohydroxybenzoic acid is also known as 2-hydroxybenzoic acid. Clear? Plus NaCl can be formed. See, they have not given the mechanism. We will talk about the mechanism. We will talk about the mechanism. Let's see the mechanism, children. So here, what we have? Sodium phenoxide we have. So as you know, phenol C6H5OH, it is in the form of C6H5O minus and H plus. So this is called phenoxide. Even in sodium phenoxide also it is existing in the form of phenoxide. So C6H5. O minus carries lone pair of electrons. See, if I polarize the bond in this direction, right? So if I polarize the bond in this direction, this carbon develops positive charge. This lone pair will be given to this carbon. We have a weak electrophile, that is C double bond O. I can polarize the bond in this direction. So carbon develops positive charge. So here negative charge is there, it is being attacked by the carbon. Forms a double bond O and it forms C. Already double bond O is there connected with O minus. This is O minus. Observe it carefully. How simple it is. Very simple. So we have here hydrogen also. We have here hydrogen. So next what will happen? As a next step, what we will do? So we can polarize the bond in this direction. So it is developing positive charge. So it takes electron from carbon. So then it takes electron from hydrogen. Right? So it is minus and it is plus. Forms a bond and it is O minus. H plus will attack over here. It forms COOH. Is it clear for you? So that forms a COOH. Very simple. And followed by acidification. Followed by acidification. That gives you OH-COOH. Orthohydroxybenzoic acid. Commonly known as salicylic acid. Commonly known as salicylic acid. Understood the point? Is it clear for you? See, whenever they gave the reaction in board examination, simply have to write it OH treated with NaOH. It forms C6H5ONa treated with CO2 at 125 degrees Celsius around. So 4 to 6 atmospheric pressure. So it forms ONa and COONa will be formed, right? Or COO minus, followed by acidification. It gives you OH COOH. So it is the reaction you have to write it in board examinations, and it is the mechanism we have given. Is it clear for you? Hope you understand. So this is the way how to write the mechanism. Now we will be talking about second reaction we have. The second reaction is Riemer-Tiemann's reaction. What is that, children? Riemer-Tiemann's reaction. A very important reaction, children, even for the PU as well as for competitive. So let's see the Riemer-Tiemann reaction. So with the mechanism also I'll explain it. With the mechanism I'll explain it, don't worry. Okay. So whenever phenol treated with the chloroform in the presence of an alkali, right? Whenever phenol is treated with chloroform in the presence of an alkali, it forms an intermediate which is upon furtherly treated with the 2 moles of NaOH and 2 moles of NaCl is removed, and it gives CHOH-OH. Whenever carbon is consisting of 2 OH groups, it is highly unstable. So when it is highly unstable, to attain stability, what it will do? It will lose the water molecule, and then H from here, OH from here can be removed as water, and it forms CHO, and here ONA is already there, and further acidification will give OH-CHO. That is nothing but orthohydroxybenzaldehyde, 2-hydroxybenzaldehyde or salicylaldehyde or salicylaldehyde. So phenols can be converted into salicylaldehyde by the help of Riemer-Tiemann's reaction. By the help of Riemer-Tiemann reaction. So what I mean to say, if they give you reaction like this, phenol C6H5OH plus CHCl3 plus NaOH gives you CHCl3 plus NaOH. Whenever you see that with phenol means Riemer-Tiemann reaction. Understood? So it gives you orthohydroxybenzaldehyde. What it gives? Orthohydroxybenzaldehyde plus NaCl plus water. This orthohydroxybenzaldehyde is known as salicylaldehyde. What it is called as a salicylaldehyde. Observe the mechanism carefully, children. First of all, CHCl3 means chloroform. Here EWGs are there. It can be acting as acidic hydrogen. It is removed as CCl3 minus plus H2. Understood? So that CCl3 minus can be rearranged as one Cl can be removed over there. It forms CCl2. What it is? CCl2 carbon with one lone pair. Carbon with one lone pair by the removal of Cl minus. This is called dichlorocarbene. What is this called as? Dichlorocarbene. A very important question. Riemer-Tiemens reaction proceeds through the formation of which intermediate? It proceeds through the formation of which intermediate? Carbene intermediate. Proceeds through the formation of carbene intermediate, children. Understood? So here initially we have taken chloroform. That chloroform is treated with alkali. It forms carbene intermediate. Intermediate has been generated. Now we will go for the step. I will be erasing the ink. Right? So we got dichlorocarbene. Keep it aside. But what we have? Phenol treated with NaOH forms a phenoxide ion. That is O minus. Now dichlorocarbene, CCl2. Carbon is electron deficient here. Observe it. Carbon is electron deficient. It has 2 bonds, 4 electrons, and one lone pair, 6 electrons. Short of how many electrons? 2 electrons. Short of 2 electrons means okay, it's electron deficient. Understood? Polarize the bond in this way. It is minus. So then it forms, it is minus means okay, this lone pair will attack, so this carbon will attack over here as it is electron deficient. So this plus and minus forms a bond. Double bond O. Already carbon is connected with H. It forms CCl2. Check it. Now carbon acquires, okay, carbon acquires bond, electron rich, and next as a step what we will do? We will polarize the bond once again, O minus. It takes electron from H. Obviously hydrogen is 4 element. So here minus, here plus forms a bond. That H migrates over here. It gives CH, Cl, Cl. Observe it. We got O minus. An intermediate has been formed. Furtherly, it must be treated with aqueous NaOH. How many moles are required? 2 moles are required. Right? First 1 mole is for removal of H plus from the chloroform. Here 2 moles we have used. Total how many moles we have used? 3 moles. So O minus, it gives you CH, OH, OH. Now it is highly unstable. Water molecule is removed. And then it forms O minus CHO. On further acidification, it gives C6H5 OH CHO. This is called orthohydroxy benzaldehyde, commonly known as salicylaldehyde. So when phenol is treated with chloroform, we got salicylaldehyde. Children, if it is treated with carbon tetrachloride plus NaOH plus NaOH, it gives you orthohydroxy benzoic acid. This is called salicylic acid. It is called salicylic acid. So if phenol is treated with carbon tetrachloride and NaOH, it gives salicylic acid. Chloroform and NaOH, it will give salicylic. Understood? First point, Riemer-Tiemann reaction proceeds through the formation of carbene intermediate. Second point, there is a requirement of 3 moles of NaOH to complete the reaction. Understood? Is it clear for you? So those points you have to remember. That is all about Riemer-Tiemann's reaction. Yeah, next reaction, third property. So this you have learnt in first year also, that is reaction with the zinc dust. Whenever phenol reacts with zinc dust, it forms benzene. It is reduction. Why? Because we are removing the hydrogen. It is also known, sorry, we are removing the, oxygen, also known as deoxygenation. Removal of oxygen, hydrogen is inserted into the ring, so ZnO. Oxygen has been removed, it combines with zinc, it forms ZnO. Phenol gives benzene. Another important one, whenever phenol is oxidized with a strong oxidizing agent, as I told you, with the concentrated nitric acid also ring undergo oxidation. Similarly, with acidified potassium dichromate, ring undergo oxidation, it forms benzoquinone. What it forms, children? Benzoquinone. Very important in KSET exams. Phenol on oxidation with acidified dichromate gives benzoquinone or parabenzoquinone. Parabenzoquinone. Right? So if you want to differentiate alcohol and phenol, as you know children, phenol is stronger acid than alcohol. Phenol is stronger acid than alcohol. Alcohol is weak acid compared to phenol. It is a basic comparison. So based on this comparison, first one what we can give it, alcohol have no litmus action. Litmus paper test, okay, cannot be responded by alcohol because it is a weak acid. But whereas phenol can be responded, it can turn blue litmus to red because it is acidic, somehow considerable acidic. Generally, all organic acids are weak acids, but here when it is compared to alcohol, phenol is somehow acidic. Phenol gives violet coloration with aqueous neutral ferric chloride or FeCl3 solution, but alcohols do not give any coloration with aqueous neutral FeCl3. Okay, so it is another important test, children, to distinguish between phenol and alcohol. Phenol can give litmus test. Phenol can give neutral FeCl3 test, but alcohols cannot give. Phenol, whenever it is treated with ferric chloride, it forms a ferric phenoxide, that is violet coloration is observed. Okay. Yeah, Riemer-Tiemann reaction gives the formation of salicylaldehyde. Phenol gives violet coloration when it is treated with neutral FeCl. Okay, that's all for today's session, children. Hope you enjoyed the session. Right? If you have any doubts still, please post in the comment box. Okay, and if you like the video, please click on the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have already subscribed, please click on the bell icon. Don't forget to click on the bell icon to get the notifications. Is it clear? Like, please share about my channel to your friends, and as I am providing the free chemistry online courses, right? So we will discuss another topic in the next lecture, right? Until then, take care. Signing off. Bye bye.